If you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and become part of this community. Oh, and also, go cop that fresh merch and listen to my new album in the description. Okay, so y'all gotta check out what just happened, because we got this whole, Kanye versus Drake beef going on, the Donda versus CLB debate, which album was better, which album was album of the year, while the whole time, a lot of us, and me included, were just preaching that y'all enjoy both albums for what they are and don't bet them up against each other like people always do. And apparently Kanye is now also willing to squash their beef, because the two of them have been trading, shots back and forth. Drake on 7 a.m. on Brittle Path, then he also leaked that Kanye song, and then Kanye leaked Drake's address, even though that was publicly available. But still, the two of them have subliminally always been shooting some shots back and forth, and Kanye now took to social media to post a video of him and Jay Prince. Apparently the two linked up at some chapel, and they posted a video which is really funny because it's low quality. I mean, it's not funny, but like the way that Kanye presents what he's talking about is, to me, kind of funny, because they're just standing there in this really low quality filming. Kanye is just reading the words that he's speaking from his phone, very with no emotion, with no any type of hype behind it. But basically what he's trying to achieve with this video is he's calling on Drake to join him for a concert that's going to take place on December 7th, which is a Tuesday, in Los Angeles. And there he said they're going to perform the two best albums of this year, so Donda and CLB, finally squash their beef and, be on good terms again, and also use this event to, with the bigger purpose, with the higher purpose of freeing Larry Hoover, the Gangster's Disciples leader that's been locked up for the longest time now, and that, many people have been trying to get out of jail for a very long time now. Kanye also back in 2018 while Trump was still in office. So this has been an endeavor going on for a long time, and now they're trying to achieve this through this event. I'm not exactly sure how they are going to do this. If any of you have more information on how they're trying to free Larry now, please let me know. But they're trying to spread awareness on this, and also Kanye emphasized that he wants to show people what we can do if we lay our pride to the side and just come together and, don't do none of that useless beef and back and forth like Kanye and Drake have been doing for the past couple of months, especially with the Donda and CLB release. So this, to me, came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting this to happen. Of course, there are a lot of questions that I asked myself the first time I watched this video. For example, is Drake gonna agree to do this? I really don't know. I thought about this a lot, and I'm not sure if Drake is gonna accept this offer from Ye, but that'll be interesting to see how Drake responds to this. Also, will this squash their beef that has now been going on? I mean, it does on the surface. They're both pretending to be like, yo, we're good, we can perform our albums together, but will this actually, end the underlying problem that the two have with each other? Because honestly, I still doubt that. Also, how is this whole thing gonna look like? Are they just gonna be on stage both performing their songs? I mean, that would be really dope, but I'm still not sure what that's gonna look like. Drake is obviously still concerned with the tragedy that happened at Astrofest, or Astroworld Festival. He just posted another post on Instagram talking about him praying for the families that have been affected by the losses that we saw at that event, which he also performed at. He was on stage with Travis just as those people in the crowd were stomped to death. So obviously that's his main concern right now. But I do think that this event, especially with the goal of freeing Larry Hoover, is something that is worth taking or directing his time towards. And honestly, it's amazing to see that at least Kanye is now making the effort to be like, yo, I love that he said the two best albums of this year. He's not like my album and his album, but he's like squashing the whole debate of which album was better by saying the two best albums of this year, because that just includes both albums. He's saying both were the best of the year. So I like that, while Kanye always has some ego to push, this time he played it humble. And I know that I'm just focusing on the music level of this thing, because I think that's what interests most of you guys. As I said, freeing Larry Hoover is a whole nother discussion that we can talk about. I still want to know what exactly their measures are that they want to take in order to legally, go on about about doing that. But from a musical standpoint, it's just really cool to see these two artists coming together and hopefully doing a show together, because their beef has been going on for such a long time, for years now, that we haven't seen the two of them on stage together, I think, ever, or at least like very early on still in Drake's career. And that's why, especially with the newly found beef between them, this will be very interesting to a lot of people to see what they're going to do musically with this. I do believe there are some other motives behind this. You know, it's not just Ye out of just being a good person saying like, yo, we should end our beef. But I do think that there is something going on behind the scenes as well that's going to benefit both of them. I do think that this is not just like out of nowhere and Drake is going to see this on his IG feed, this morning and be like, oh yeah, I'll go there. This has been planned. I think in a way it's a bit of a publicity stunt, but that's just the way they gotta play it. That's just the way people are gonna hype this thing up and eventually also care about the outcome, which is this event that's gonna take place on December 7th. So mark your calendars, because I'm gonna be watching this thing. I don't know if it's gonna be live streamed. I know there's gonna be clips of it. I can't be there live, which would be very cool. I would love to see that, but obviously LA is not somewhere that I can just go to for one day and then just come back the next. Anyway, this whole thing summed up, Kanye has now called on Drake to join him for a joint concert on December 7th in LA, with the ultimate goal of freeing Larry Hoover and showing people what coming together and not beefing, but actually, squashing all the beef, putting pride to the side, we can achieve together, which is then going to be displayed through the example of freeing Larry Hoover, an effort that's, been out there in hip hop for the longest time now, because this man has really been locked up for the longest time now, man. This is too long. At this concert, they're going to perform their two albums, Donda and CLB, which Kanye has called the two best albums of this year. I like that we're not, talking about Donda versus CLB anymore, but rather just viewing them as individual projects. That's the way I always wanted it, so I'm happy that we finally got about doing that. So that's all the info that we have on this thing so far. If we do learn anything more about this, I'll be sure to have y'all updated. But for now, I want to know what you think about this. What do you expect from this concert? There are still so many questions that I have that need to be answered. What do you think about the ultimate goal of freeing Larry Hoover? Do you think that is an effort that finally needs to be pushed through? And do you think that's the actual motive of this thing, or do you think there's something going on behind the scenes that is just going on behind the scenes and we don't really know about it, and they get both of them get the benefit out of it? Anyway, all of that, let me know in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media and blog down in the description. It really helps me out. Until the next one, y'all have an incredible day, and y'all take care.